How many of you love our public art program in Lake Oswego? Raise your hand. Put a hand together for Nicole Nathan, Executive Director of Art in Lake Oswego Arts Council.
Throughout our 25 years, the Arts Council of Lake Oswego has become a part of the fabric of this city thanks to creative thinkers and civic leaders, dedicated community partners, and engaged business owners who value the arts as a key attribute to livability and economic prosperity. We are fortunate to have so many wonderful artists, advocates, and volunteers in the community who provide support for the Gallery Without Walls public art program, Art Space Gallery, and our educational programs and events. And we just want to say thank you. Today, we're here to bestow the Fortuna Award, which goes to an individual who believes in and provides unparalleled support for the arts in our community, and is named for the Fortuna sculpture, which anchors the southern end of First Street at the roundabout at Millennium Plaza Park. I know you've all driven around it. Fortuna is a part of a suite of 10 sculptures throughout Millennium Plaza Park by artist Simon Toporowski, and illustrates a unique take on the story of Icarus. I encourage you to take the time to go through Millennium Park Plaza and follow the story because it's really incredible. These sculptures were some of the very first works in the City of Lake Oswego public art program and helped pave the way for the Arts Council of Lake Oswego to become a nonprofit and independent in 1999. ACLO manages the Gallery Without Walls program and much more on behalf of the City of Lake Oswego. Tonight, I'm happy to give the Arts Council's Fortuna Award to an incredible individual who is not only a talented metal artist, but also a creator of magic with the help of an excellent crane truck. This year's Fortuna Award goes to Mike Suri. I have more. Just stay right here. Mike helps make Gallery Without Walls come to life by providing the tools, knowledge, strength, interns and apprentices, the ability to think on his feet, and a little bit of abracadabra to help us get anywhere from 12 to 16 sculptures carefully taken down, craned onto some sort of trailer, truck, or vehicular contraption. They're artists. Then reverse that process a few weeks later when the new shiny works come into town ready to be placed. All in the heat of July and August. Add in logistics, straps, generators, tools, and the problems when they come up, and you can see we're lucky to have such a dedicated and talented individual in our midst. When Mike got a new crane a few years back and showed us how he and his apprentice Ash were rebuilding the truck that it lives on, I'm not sure who was more excited, the Arts Council or Mike. Is Mike's profile picture in my phone the weight for the scale for the new crane? Maybe. Mike also gives back in so many ways, by teaching welding both formally and informally, influencing new generations of makers, by taking on apprentices at his studio, working collaboratively with other artists, and making this part of the world a better place with public art. Mike has 3 pieces in Lake Oswego's permanent collection: Sprout on the Headley Trail, Clackamas at George Rogers Park, and a collaborative work with Jennifer Kapnick, Land Dance 1 downtown that won People's Choice a couple years back. But Mike's reach goes way beyond Lake Oswego. Mike and another one of our talented Gallery Without Walls artists, Teresa White, installed a piece they produced together at Errol Hart's Park in Portland and have another piece in the works for the East Multnomah County Library. And you can see his work at Mary Hill Museum in the Gorge and the Interstate Firehouse Cultural Center in North Portland. Mike's work, dedication to Gallery Without Walls, and talent helped to make this city's public art program great. Because of this and more, it is my honor to award Mike Suri this amazing award. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you. It was a little over 15 years ago when my mentor, Tom Yodi, encouraged me to get in contact with the Arts Council and look into the Gallery Without Walls exhibit. I did that. I submitted a drawing, that eventually became accepted in the Sculpture Sprout down by Lower Millennium Plaza. And in 2008, while we were installing that sculpture with Bob Liddell and the current crew that was doing that work, we had a great time. Bob and the crew asked if I'd be interested in helping out with a few others. And here we are, over 15 years later. And I've had the opportunity to interact with, to install the work of, to help and support, to invite and welcome to our exhibit here hundreds of artists, and I've had the opportunity to handle hundreds of pieces of artwork of different styles, different materials. It's been incredibly impactful for the maturation of my career and my practice. Thank you, Arts Council. Thank you, Nicole, Nora, Morgan, Eric, and the board. This object of appreciation means a lot to me. I also really want to thank my assistants that Nicole mentioned. Ash, my assistant, who was a student of mine at Mount Hood and now has been working with me for about 7 years. Amazing. And quite a few that came before her are the reason I'm able to do this work. You know, I don't do this alone, and I like to think of myself as fiercely dependent. And in that vein, I also really want to thank my wife, Lacey Nash, who for 27 years, we have work together to build a life around art. Not just making art, not just collecting art, but just thinking creatively and developing relationships and building community around that. And if it wasn't for her grounding and my vivid imagination, as my mom puts it, combined together, I wouldn't be the person standing here in front of you today, having gotten to create and be a part of the projects that I've gotten to be a part of. And I wanted to say that just being in this room with so many people who agree on one thing, that nurturing creativity and creative thinking and creative expression in ourselves and in our young people and in our programming is of such a huge value to our communities. It humanizes us, it connects us, it gives us a break from the technicality of existence. So it fills me with great optimism. And so I thank you all for that. Big way.
Thank you, Nicole, and congratulations, Mike. Now, if you would all join me in welcoming the Executive Director of the Oswego Heritage Council, Catherine Seiner, to the podium.
Hello, everyone. I want to start with a little question for you all. So have you ever been like walking around town or driving or talking to someone and you see something interesting and you go, what is that? What is the story there? What's the background? What's going on here? Give me a thumbs up if that's ever happened to you. A thumbs to the side if you're like maybe once or twice. A thumbs down if you're like, no, never, ever. Okay. See a lot of thumbs up. Awesome. That's great. So in the Heritage Council, we have a really extensive archives. We have a lot of items, all of which connect to the history of Lake Oswego. Thousands and thousands of items. Now, wouldn't it be great if you saw that weird thing and then you could like look into it, have an answer for it, learn more about it? Well, in our archives, amongst all of our items, there are amazing stories that connect to some of those questions that naturally pop up when you're walking around and looking around your community. And it takes a lot of really dedicated volunteers to dig into all of those things and to pull out the stories and to fill out a narrative and to tell those stories. It takes a lot of work, and we have done a lot of work. This person that I'm going to highlight tonight has done a lot of that work. But if it just stays in our archives, if it stays locked away, well, what good does that do? If it's not easy to find, what good is that? And so the question that the Heritage Council has really been thinking a lot about is how do we make our collection easier to use? How do we make it more accessible to people so that when you have that moment, you can then answer it. You can build that connection and really engage with that curiosity. And that, it turns out, takes a lot of work. And so we worked last year with the library to create an index for their historical collection and our own, which is basically just a list of every single item that both of us have. It's a lot of stuff. And so if you have that question and you want that answer, pulling up a list of every single item feels a little bit daunting. And so it takes an even more dedicated volunteer to look at that list, grapple with it, and say, let's turn this into something even more usable. And so this volunteer led the charge in doing that. What she did is she built something called an finding aid, which is doesn't sound very exciting, but is super, super useful. It's a snapshot of a collection. If you're driving down the street and you say, Carmen Avenue, who's Carmen? Well, if you go to our collection and you look at the Carmen family collection, this finding aid provides a snapshot. It gives a biography, it lists names, it tells you what you're going to find once you start really digging. And this is something that every museum dreams of having because it makes your collection easy to use. It makes it so that anybody can research in it and add on to the historical narrative that we're all trying to share and create together. And so Caroline Glad led that charge, did that work, and just, it takes someone who is not just dedicated, but careful, resilient, patient, and absolutely stubborn to do this. And Caroline did it for, we have 80 collections. She did it for all of them. And so can we put our hands together for Caroline? Yes, good. Good dog, good dog. So this is the Herald Campbell Award, which goes to a heritage champion, and that is Caroline. So pass it off.
Oh my goodness. Thank you, Chamber. This is fun. This is the good stuff. Thank you, Catherine, our remarkable executive director. She has brought incredible programming to our museum, and I just appreciate your dedication and leadership at the house also. Thank you to everyone else at the Heritage Council. They're so supportive in all the projects that we're doing. Mark Brown, you're there every single day. We've put so many hours, yes, I know, always round of applause. Hours we've spent organizing, archiving, researching everything. It's a real team effort, and I'm really just honored. Thank you to be a part of it. So come visit us. Bring us your stuff.
Thank you so much, Catherine, and congratulations, Caroline. It's wonderful that the Chamber get to have a view into the other organizations in our city that do so much for our city. And another long-standing organization is the Lakewood Center for the Arts. Is anybody in here familiar with that place? Yes? Well, will you do me the kind favor of putting your hands together for the executive director of the Lakewood Center, Andrew Edwards.
Has anybody heard of that place? Thank you, Christopher. My sincere appreciation to the Chamber of Commerce and to our title sponsor, Umpqua Bank. I am Andrew Edwards, the Executive Director for Lakewood Center, and it is my honor to make the presentation of the Vega Arts Champion Award to Jan Rimerman tonight. The Vega Arts Champion Award from Lakewood is made to individuals and or organizations who inspire and nurture a love of theater and the arts. It recognizes the service a person or an organization does to promote, fund, or work with the arts. Tonight's award recipient, Jan Rimerman's amazing dedication to the arts has been and continues to be a reason she is an essential leader in our city of arts and culture. Okay. Jan is a multi-award winning artist arts educator, motivational speaker, leader of many visual arts organizations, advocate for environmental causes, and a tireless promoter of the arts. In fact, let it be known tonight that Jan is Lake Oswego's Energizer Art Bunny. She just keeps going and going and going. Here are a few of her select activities. Since the mid-1970s, Jan's award-winning artwork has been showcased in multiple galleries and in university and private collections across the U.S. Her art has been published in books, magazines, posters, greeting cards worldwide. As an arts educator, she pioneered the Art After Hours program for high school students and community members. And she created an art cultural exchange between schools in Portland and Poland, known as the Common Connection. The state of Oregon recognized her leadership as an Arts Educator of the Year. But wait, there's more. She keeps going and going. Jan gives frequent presentations of her international art adventures, educating us about art and culture while raising donations for Tibetan orphans, the Ecuadorian rainforest, and Tanzania Safe Water Program. Other projects where she promotes art and awareness include Cows for Kids, Children First, the Audubon Society, the Susan G. Komen Foundation, and the Turtle Heads and the Turtle Head Start program. I didn't know they had a head start for turtles. But speaking of turtles, did you know that she, along with partner Dave Hazlett, created Rock Paper Turtle Art for Wetlands? It raises awareness and funds for the Western Pond Turtles Habitat. Didn't know that, I bet. I don't think this woman ever sleeps. She is also the director of the seasonal Rainspark Gallery, as well as the art exhibition director for the annual Lake Oswego Reads, where you can see my wife, who is the director of that, and the curated exhibit at Lakewood later this year in April. And speaking of Lakewood, her art adventures there include the Lakewood's annual and Lake Oswego's annual Festival of the Arts, where she served as the open show curator for 25 years, working with over 800 artists, showcasing 1,500 pieces of artwork each and every year. And for several years now, she has served as the curator of the D. Denton Gallery at Lakewood, the oldest continuously operating art gallery in Lake Oswego. In addition to coordinating and staging 10 to 12 exhibits each year, she also created and hosts a program called Art Decked Out, which offers monthly talks about art and artists featured in the gallery. Like the Energizer Bunny, she just keeps going and going, giving inspiring service to art and her community. Lake Oswego, the City of Arts. With gratitude from Lakewood's board, volunteers, staff, and artists, as well as, I assume, all of us present, we present the Arts Champion Award to the remarkable Jan Rimerman.
Oh boy. He's right, I don't sleep much. But I have to thank all of you and the city of Lake Oswego for allowing us to be the city of the arts and to take all these great ideas and opportunities and make things happen. So give it up to you guys for making it happen. So we have another set of applause for Andrew Edwards and Steve Knox, my bosses at the Lakewood Center for the Arts, who listen to all my crazy ideas and they go, Jan, Well, I just figure all they can do is say no. But so far, they've said yes pretty well. And so, hence, we have art decked out. And now, when the weather's not so great, art decked in. And this is in lieu of a reception every single month when we change out our gallery shows. So, we have live music, we have refreshments, you get to meet the artists get to tell you a little bit about their inspiration and what the hell's going on in their heads. And that's really fun to learn. Also, a little bit about techniques. So, Art Decked In and Art Decked Out, watch for it on the website. Please do come. The next thing that's coming up here at the Lakewood Center for the Arts is Ella Reed's. And we are opening with the Ella Reed's art exhibition April 4th. And there's a huge reception. We get to have a party on the stage. You get to meet the artists. So please put that on your calendars too. So the last thing I get to talk about, not because he made me, is the Festival of the Arts this year is really exciting. It's animation. Ta-ta-ta. And some of you might not know that the city of Portland is the animation city of the nation. And we are having sponsors and workshops and speakers from about 7 different animation studios that are in our neighborhood. And one of the best ones.
We could always use more sponsors.
Oh, yes. Okay, we could use a few more sponsors. I need someone to sponsor some framing for Bill Plimpton's show in the D. Denton Gallery, which I am honored to go to New York City and to his studio and handpick 18 pieces. So you've got to come to the festival for that. He's also going to be at the patron party speaking, so you'll get to meet an international animator that night too. So I don't think I've forgotten anything. Okay. Oh, yes. One more thing. Sit. Okay. Because this is the city of the arts, and we can't do and promote the arts without all of you, we do have some volunteer positions anywhere you want at the Lakewood Center for the Arts, whether it's an hour or 10. Thank you very much for this award.
Thank you, Edward, and congratulations to Jan.